Hello and welcome. My name is Francisco, and in this video, we are going to build a toggleable show and hide menu. Some may know it as a hamburger menu, where you click on the icon and the menu pops out. You click on that icon again and the menu hides. We're starting with three files: an HTML, CSS, and JavaScript file. In our HTML file, we have a basic boilerplate. Here we have our CSS linked and our scripts linked. In our body, we have a navigation element. Inside that, we have an unordered list with our navigation links. Under this unordered list, we have an anchor element. We're going to use this as our toggle button. Alternately, you may use a button. I wanted to avoid all the default styles of a button, so I used an anchor element for its simplicity. To avoid an anchor element's default behavior, we added this short snippet inside of its href attribute, and I've given it an ID of toggle so that I may call this later on, and kept it simple with just writing the word toggle in all capital letters. This will make it easier to see when we're over in our web browser. And last, we have a heading. This is just to give us something to see in our browser. Let's start with the CSS. I've gotten us started with some resets and some basic styles. My goal for this video is to teach how to create a toggleable menu, and so I'm going to skip all the basic CSS. I'll let you pause this video and copy what I have. I do want to point out that in our navigation element, I've added display flex and also flex direction column reverse along with justify content center. The reason that I've done that is if we go back into our HTML file, the unordered list comes before the anchor element. I wanted to keep it this way because I want the unordered list to come first in our navigation element. And now back to our CSS file. Let's divide this document into three sections. At the top, we'll have all rules that will affect all screen sizes, and then we'll create a media query for rules that will only take effect in small screens, and then another media query for rules that will only take effect on large screens. Looking over at our web browser, we see we have our toggle button, and right under that, our links. The first thing we'll do is get rid of our toggle button on large displays. In our large screen only media query, we'll target it with its toggle ID. Then we'll give it a property of display none. We save and you see that it's gone. Let's test things out by toggling the screen sizes from large to small. As you see on small screens, we still see the toggle button display, but as I go on to the larger screen, the toggle button disappears. We're designing for mobile first, so I'll switch our screen sizes to the smaller one. The toggle button looks nicer on the right side, so I am going to once again target it with its toggle ID and give it the property align self with a value of end. I like to jump back and forth between screen sizes once I save, just to make sure that nothing has broken or we don't have any bugs. And looks like everything is working just the way we want it. Now let's take our navigation links on large screens. We'll need to target our list, and to do this, I'll use the navigation element and the unordered list element. And this works because there should only be one unordered list inside of our navigation element. Also, it's important that we add this inside of our large screen only media query. To make them display inline, it's as simple as adding display flex. They're a little too close together, so we'll add a gap of 15 pixels. The actual amount depends on you. Okay, let's test. Did anything break? Our toggle displays only on small screens, and our navigation links display inline only on large screens. Okay, now let's go back to small screens. We want our navigation links to appear centered on our screen. We'll create this rule in the small screen only media query. We'll target our list again using the navigation element and the unordered list element, and we'll use align items center. In order for align items to work, we need to use the display flex property. And because display flex makes items display in line, we'll need to use the flex direction column to make items stack once again. Okay, let's do some testing. On smaller screens, we have our toggle button in the right corner. Then centered right below that, we have our links. If we jump over to large screens, the toggle button disappears and we see that our links are displayed inline. If you want your links to appear on the right, you can add justify content end. On small screens, we don't want our links to appear unless we click the toggle button. To create this behavior, we're going to create a script that's going to add and remove a class onto our list, allowing us to control whether they are displayed or not. First, we want to remove our menu, and we'll do that by setting this to display none. Then we'll create a new rule for our links, except this time we'll give it a new class. Let's call it open. When open is added to our list, we'll simply add display flex. Let's jump back into our HTML file. We can test our new rule by adding the open class and removing the open class. The next step is to create JavaScript to toggle this class on and off. I've gotten us started by creating a variable, toggle btn, and in that variable, I've stored our toggle button. Then I created a second variable, called it nav, and in it I stored our navigation links. To keep track of whether our menu is open or closed, we'll create a variable and call it nav is open, and we'll make it equal to false because when our page first loads, we want our navigation menu to appear closed. We'll use the click event listener on the button. When that button is clicked, we'll call a function. The first thing that we want to do in our function is toggle nav is open between false and true. We'll use an if-else statement. If nav is open equals true, we'll take our navigation list and to it we'll add the class open. However, if it's false, well, then we'll just add an empty class attribute. Okay, we're done. Let's test things out. I'll open the navigation element in our inspector so that we can see the class open being added and removed. When I click on the toggle button, our navigation links display, and when I click on it again, they go away. Thank you for watching. To help support this channel, please hit the like button and subscribe. See you next time.